Hey guys, David Irwin here from David Irwin Design, and this series or this video is kind of taking inspiration from the Adorama Rewind series of videos that Seth Miranda does. He focuses on photography. I think it'd be a good idea to have one that focuses on brand identity and graphic design. So I figured I would look at a few of the sites that I follow when I want to learn about something new in the world of graphic design, and pick some topics. And I'm like that YouTuber who gives away Amazon gift codes. That's not what I'm doing here. I'm going to talk about some of the identity systems and articles that I've read over the last week and ask you questions as to whether or not what you think of them, things like that. So the first one that we're actually going to look at is the MasterCard update that Pentagram have done for their MasterCard identity system that they began in 2016. They originally redesigned the corporate logo. They got rid of the weird intersecting stripes, and they just made it two circles, one orange, one red. They mashed them together, one yellow, one red, and they mashed them together to make that orange kind of circle. And so the identity system has evolved a little bit, and they've decided to actually get rid of the word mark from the logo itself and update it so that it's just those two symbols. You can see here that they've just done a subtle brand refresh. There's a infographic here on design.com that shows the evolution of the brand logo and MasterCard from the 1960s right up until this newest evolution that Pentagram have done. It's not the only time Pentagram have been in the news this week. We also have a new logo identity system for Slack. Slack had to update their logo. They moved from the hashtag. They've moved to this lozenge and speech bubble style logo where they've kept the word mark, but they've moved away from that hashtag that they said basically doesn't work in any color except for white, which is fair enough. It doesn't actually. There's plenty of places where it has to exist, and it's not really working on other phones. The thing that I did notice though with the new design with the purple background is that it tends to actually disappear into my screen. It's not as noticeable. There's actually been pointed out here on this graphic where you can see the dark purple logo and the weird lozenge and speech bubble kind of symbol that's in the middle of the app. I don't think that this would have worked if you had have moved the app up a little bit and put it against the the purple gradient where maybe wallet exists. And I know on my phone I've had a hard time sort of finding the app when I need to for work. So that's something that I think maybe they could have changed. They could have kept the app a little bit, maybe kept the app white, changed the symbol definitely, but kept the app the actual color, move away from the purple that I realize is part of the identity system. Slack itself is purple, but even still, this plum purple definitely disappears. It doesn't pop as much on my phone, and that's something that people in the comments here on under consideration at brand new have pointed out as well. Even still, love the new brand symbol. I think it works. I think it's a grand identity system, maybe a little bit boring, but you know what? It works for Slack. They've sort of thickened up the typography as well, made it a little bit sharper, which is nice. So yeah, if you wanna check that out, I'll leave a link. Tell me, what do you think of this new logo? Is this something that you're thinking about? Have you discussed it with any other designers out there? I'd love to know your thoughts. The next thing I want to talk about is sort of a brand extension. WeWork, the shared workspace, you can rent a desk, that kind of thing. So they've been in the news a couple of times this week, but one of the things that I want to talk about is their New York retail store. Now I'm seeing a lot of brand dilution with WeWork. SoftBank, their major sort of investor, has invested heavily in them again. There's been some controversies over the last week. Their CEO renting buildings to them, making a little bit of extra money. I don't want to talk about that. I just want to talk about brand dilution. So they've moved from WeWork to the We Company, and they've made that their corporate logo. They've got We Grow, We Live, We Work. I'm not sure that that's going to work. That brand extension doesn't scream. It doesn't scream to me, right? It doesn't even scream. That's not what I mean. It doesn't, like, when I think of the We Company, I don't think of WeWork. If they had kept it as WeWork and maybe spun off into, they could have tried We Live a different way. They didn't have to go with the We Company as a corporate brand identity. I just don't think it works. I'm not a fan of the logo either. Well, that's not true. I like the logo. I just don't like it for them. I don't think the We Company is a good name, and I think this brand extension of the New York retail doesn't work either. The space is nice, but it's very. It looks like they got a load of designers and had those designers throw up in the middle of a store. It's very hipstery but bright. It just doesn't work for me. It's too eclectic. I think there's not enough cohesiveness in the design for this store at all. Definitely something I'd like to visit, but it's just not for me. The next thing I want to talk about is the Pantone Color of the Year. So an Australian designer and copywriter basically got together and said that the 2020 Color of the Year should be bleached coral. And they took the Pantone swatches and they basically matched it up to what the color of bleached coral would be, which is a very light pale blue. They think that this is a way to highlight the 2019 living coral being the color of 2019. They think that was very sort of like not raising what is happening to coral reefs throughout the world. So they wanted to raise the issue, bring it up, and they decided to propose this 2020 Pantone Color of the Year bleached coral. They used the Pantone color swatches to do that. Definitely something I think is worth raising awareness for. This is a good article to read. Kind of brings back to that living coral that I mentioned in previous videos, the Pantone Color of the Year. This is a good way to raise some of the issues that have plagued coral reefs, thanks to human intervention. As designers, we basically change the world, but are the things that we're doing actually helping the world or not? You never know. Definitely a discussion that I'd like to have. Let me know in the comments what you think of it. The kind of last few quickies that I have. CES is after taking away an Innovation of the Year award from Lora DiCarlo's company. They basically make these sort of, I guess it's a vibrator, female sex health, that kind of thing is what the discussion is sort of raised. They took away the innovation reward that they gave to her at the start of 2019, and they've told her that she's no longer allowed to present in 2020, I believe it is. This is certainly something that I think we should be talking about, because there is other sex-related industries that are allowed, and the excuse that CES gives is that there's no product market for it in their show. But that's really not true, or maybe it is true, but that's their opinion. They do allow other sex-based companies to operate within CES, but their parent company, the CTA, which I believe is the Consumer Tech Awards at CES, I believe, let me just check that. The Consumer Technology Association is the name of the company. They basically said that they won't be working, and they've revoked the award with Lora DiCarlo. Their CEO, Laura Haddock has come out and said that this is blatant sexism. Let me know in the comments what you think. Should this have been removed? Should all sex-related technology be removed? Should the robotics industry, the design industry, really care if something is designed as well as they said this was initially? Doesn't matter what the product actually is. Should morals go into whether an award is given or not? I'm sure if some simulated sex VR technology came out that was related to that, they'd definitely be bring it in because it's applicable to more than just that industry. But if a specific sex company actually developed it, then and it has wider applications, then surely it should be awarded. Final thing is Yoshimada of Tato Architects designed a coffee table that you assemble from hardware in the local hardware store. You basically buy all the materials yourself, and then you also buy the design from the company Hornbach, and they give you the design itself. You go out, you buy the materials in your local hardware store, you pull this together, and you can make your own coffee table. It is interconnected. You can swap parts around so that it has a sort of a dynamic design that changes with the day that you like. It's definitely something that I found interesting. I really like the idea of adding neon paint to the underside of a table to give that multi-layered dynamic sort of color splashes that happen here. Now, I don't know how much that this would actually appear in a table if you were to have this in your home or something like that, because we have a professionally lit picture here. We don't know what they're using to bounce that up and make the neon spray appear, but maybe it will happen. Maybe it's something anybody could experience if they built this themselves. The other thing is, if you're going to buy a design or a new table, do you really want to build it yourself? If you're going to build it yourself, why not design it yourself? You can just look at this picture and come up with something similar. But it's definitely something interesting that I saw the last week. I was interested in this the moment I seen it, so I figured I'd bring it up and find out what you think. So that's it from me this week. But I would like to hear what you guys think about this. These articles, this stuff that's come up. What do you think about the logo design for Slack, the Pentagrams MasterCard update? Do you think MasterCard actually needs to include the logo mark, the type mark, the type part of the logo itself, or do you think it's completely identifiable with the two circles? Personally, I think it probably is today, but if this is something that they're going to go forward with, they'll definitely want to include the word mark. That's what I was looking for earlier on, the word mark going forward, because just because I know it doesn't mean a kid who's 10 years younger than me is going to know what it is. And if they move forward with this, maybe they need that for the brand identity so that people can recognize it as they move forward. But that's just an opinion. It'd be a worry that I have. Maybe it's not warranted. WeWork, what do you think about them opening different kinds of space? What do you actually think about the We company itself? Is that something you're interested in? Have you followed along with their sort of brand relaunch and the idea of becoming a We parent company that does living, office, gardens, kind of things like that? Finally, the Pantone color of the year, the bleach coral. Do you think that is a good thing that they should be raising? Should they be, jumping on that Pantone color of the year of living coral and making it all about how positive things are? Should they be, co-opting that and showing that not everything is rosy in the world of coral reefs, and therefore maybe they shouldn't have gone with the living coral sort of pink color that they went with this year? Should they have gone with something a little more demure or colder? Because that's what's happening with coral reefs itself. Lora DiCarlo, let me know what you think about that. Should CES be revoking awards for things simply because they find them unmoral or immoral? Is this, if it got through all of the waves that it needed to win an award, why would they suddenly take it away afterwards? Or, it's their conference, it's their award, they can give it to whoever they want. Let me know in the comments what you think of that. And finally, the the Yoshimada table. Yeah, let me know what you think about that. And I guess that's it for me. I guess I won't steal the whole format for this, but I'm definitely grateful to the Adorama YouTube channel for giving me this idea. I think it's worth it. I think it's a way to share ideas. It's definitely something that I've spoken with a few photographers over at their channel, and I'll leave that in the description as well. That series that they do of weekly news that comes out about cameras and general photography, definitely worth it. Something that I truly enjoy. So that's it for me. I'm David Irwin from David Irwin Design. I'll leave all my details in the description if you want to reach out. Let me know. Cheers.